Strategy for the next few minutes is to video some of the most authentic looking old buildings I can find here. There's another market area here. This must have done a gangbuster business at one time, this little town. These look like metal stamped doors. Probably not that terribly old. Some simple wood paneled ones. This street may have been built as an adjunct to that market. An old side entrance into a backyard. This street has been redone, at least the surface has been redone, probably on part of that renovation of the infrastructure for the town. But off to the left here is a road, and this one that I'm walking on continues to the main road. And on here are some older buildings. Looking at the second floor first, it may well have been living quarters, but the grill work where people could look out is interesting. And then here you can see that this is set up so there's basically three little shops here. A window that opens up, a door giving access, another window section, and perhaps a counter behind that. If they allow this place to be remodeled, they'll put in very elaborate new shiny panels, of course. Hopefully that's not allowed. Although you should be able to restore these. It's an attempt to create trash bins, which is one way of doing it. Here a close-up of the business building across the street from the one we just looked at. This one has newer panels up above, and perhaps even a newer railing. This lower part looks to be the same. Hopefully this can somehow be restored and reused. Did those open up as little window panels as well as the two central doors? Looks very similar to what we saw earlier today at the temple, and maybe it was made at the same time, who knows. And the upper panel's equally as pretty, dominated with birds. This building I looked at a few moments ago, but I didn't notice the lattice work, as well as that up on top. Don't know what that structure is. It looks like it would have been added at some time, but a pretty grill work nevertheless.
There you are.
This is the square Shiloh that I stay in when I'm here in this little village of Shanxi. And this is the big temple. Well, it's not big, but it's old and it's authentic, which is rare. And this lady here we're going to go visit and buy a couple of items that I think are authentic. Ni hao. This is very heavy, filled, as you can see it's layered or something. Don't know what the layer is made of, some kind of real heavy cake. And then the inside part, no, even think about it. Go on. Inside's filled with a filling. Very compact, very dense, but looks like some pieces of fruit in there, but don't know what it is yet. Okay, this is just a simple meal of broccoli and two different mushrooms, stir-fried, dark sauce, probably because of soy sauce. Okay, I'm now in Dali. Took me exactly 4.5 hours to get here from Shanxi, going from Shanxi towards Shanxi, but then they dropped me off, put me immediately on another bus, and to Dali, and straight down here I came, a quick taxi ride up to my hostel, which is at the first part of this frame. Way up there somewhere is the epicenter of the tourist area. Not as touristy as Lijiang, which is just atrocious is a nice word to use. So I'm walking south along this street towards the areas that are circled, which are supposed to be the least touristy places. A European has apparently chosen this place to create Belgian waffles. It's a Tuesday, so there are a bazillion kids here with their uniforms on. This is a beautiful flowering plant, a vine of some sort it looks like. I'll back up and show you how it looks in this corner. This town is not the physical construct of tourism that Lijian is so pronouncedly. There are actually what appear to be old buildings here. This old stone building is an example. I'm starting to get down into the old section now. Toilet here, so this is not it. Less tourist activity down here. It's starting to feel a little bit more like a local area. We'll see. Just thought this graphic was pretty. This, I'm sure, an old classic storefront. Down there is the East Gate, so we should be in the area. Whether this is truly an old building or just looks like it, this might be an old building. This, of course, the old junk shop. An old fur-covered saddle. What I'm looking is the thing hanging on that bicycle wheel. It's a hoop, or half of one, and then that down below. It looks like it could be an exercise thing, but I doubt that. It has something to do, I would imagine, with horses or burros. This is the east gate of what I'm guessing was a wall that went around this town, because if you recall, up in Lijian there was a well that Kublai Khan and his men had taken water from en route to capturing Dali, this town. The area I'm walking through now is a factory area, small factory area for all kinds of this gray rock or slate colored architectural elements, including the stuff that you see over here. Looking north, this is the road that the taxi driver drove me up to from where the bus let me off. Nothing interesting, nothing old, just what might be mildly interesting. This is probably somebody's home, so this is their decorative entranceway. You would think that for each individual home, these graphics would have some special meaning to the owner. They're the Chinese storks, I think. That's not their official name. Everything in here is new, relatively speaking. I'm just randomly poking down the alleyways, hoping I'll find something old. But I don't think it's going to happen. This may be it, but it may only be the wall that's old. This is an old building, surrounded by completely redone ones. But that must have a life, a story to tell. Here's an old building hidden back behind the newer ones.